Morning, 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 morning. Welcome to another episode of Tie 24 Sports. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us. You see the title, Sugar Bowl, Gator Bowl. Moment of silence. Rest in peace for all those harmed in the terrorist attacks in New Orleans. I'm not sure the body count now. That's unfortunate, but let's just bow our heads for a second. Okay, and we're not ignoring the tragedy, but we do have to, make it a celebration with it being New Year's. With the New Year's bowls, they moved the Sugar Bowl to 4 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN today. Um, they'll also be having one of the Under Armour All American games for the high schoolers, I believe. That's what you see on my side. So check that out on ESPN2. Maybe go to halftime or commercials. You can flip back and forth. I'm not sure why they didn't move that up, maybe a little bit. I guess TV was already arranged or whatever, but I would have moved that up if even ESPN was smart and had it just a triple header, All Star game, and then the two bowl games because Ole Miss and 9-3 Duke will be playing at 8 o'clock on ESPN just top off the night in the Gator Bowl. So it'll be a lot of ACC versus SEC. I know Notre Dame isn't a full ACC member, but they are in every other sport except football, and they play 5 ACC games. So hopefully they represent the conference. But because of referees, and we saw what happened with Texas and Arizona State, where Arizona State basically should have won that game. I'm gonna stick with Georgia, even though I feel like with an injured Carson Beck, Notre Dame may be the better team, but I'm not sure if they're that much better to beat the SEC team in the playoffs. I'm not. I'm just being honest. I'm repping Ole Miss, but when you say SEC, you really talking about Alabama and Georgia, and occasionally maybe LSU. Not Florida. Florida, when they were winning straight up. I'm not being biased, but it only worked for certain teams. You see, Ole Miss, South Carolina, we don't get the benefit of the doubt, but we'll be showing up and showing out tonight because we love bowl games. You'll never hear Ole Miss say, "Oh, meaningless bowl game." If they say that, they're not a real rebel. We want to win every time. We got one of the highest bowl winning streaks and percentages in college football. We may not have won an SEC championship or a national championship since the '60s, but we've been winning our bowl games, unlike some other people. But yeah, I still got for the later on in the week games, Friday and Saturday. I still got Texas State -9.5. By the way, Ole Miss -9.5. I might want to move that down to -6.5. Um, so I'm not gonna touch it. Hopefully, that's why you got to watch the show. So if you're watching, you heard me. I said -6.5. I still got Virginia Tech +10.5. I don't believe in a blowout. I don't know why they put that line out there for Virginia Tech tomorrow on Friday. And then I got Liberty with the upset on the money line. When we move on to college basketball, against my better judgment, because I ride with those Florida teams, I'm going to go with Memphis money line against Florida Atlantic, and then I'm going to go with a Purdue -3.5. This is college basketball. Then I got a Gonzaga -29.5. I'm not fit to go over 30 points. I'm sorry with that 34.5 spread. I'm not taking that. And then I got Oregon money line in a big time Big Ten battle in college basketball. Then the NBA, I got to go with Miami Heat. They're on the road. They did good last night. Some teams didn't show up for me. Timberwolves, I like the Timberwolves to get an upset against Boston. Do that as a single pick because that's me, kind of taking a risk. The Bucks -6.5, and then the Lakers money line. So those are gonna be my picks for the day. I'll cycle back through them in a while. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Ty24Sports. It's down at the bottom. And please donate to the Cash App at the bottom. It's a $ TY Rebel 22. So let's get to the show. As I said, I'm gonna go all through different topics today since we got time. 4 o'clock on ESPN2. We got the Under Armour All American game. They've been having practices. And it's like everywhere you look, you see young men from South Florida and the big South Florida influence. They hitting that Wheezy. Shout out to the young man from Miami Central last year. He probably gonna be a star this upcoming year for Florida State. Dwayne McCoy. Yeah. Just watch out for him. Let's see what they saying in the comments section real quick. It says 6 in the wrong area. I don't know who's 6. No, he's not. Just saying, just enjoying the opportunity. Okay, I don't know who that who's number 6. Let me go back and look. I didn't see a number 6. Oh, okay. I see the number 6. Yeah. I know. I mean, they don't choose the teams that they get to go on. A lot of these kids get along, but this looked like the eighth grade. I'm not gonna. Well, I'll say his name. I believe Demarcus Van Dyke Jr., not the senior, not the dad from the U, but up and coming guy. You never heard of him from Miami Garden Ravens. You know, he's one of those big names coming up. They actually showed a picture. He's actually taller than his father, who went to the NFL Combine and was a legit 6 feet 6'1". So that kid is what, eighth grade. He's what, 13 years old. He's already at least 6'2", so he's a lone corner. I know he's a real corner. If he keeps growing, he'll just probably be like a DJ Pickett or like a Richard Sherman or I can't think of the other guy that played across from Richard Sherman out there in Seattle, or even the guy Tyreek Walden that they got in Seattle now. He's just going to be a big corner. I don't see him turning into a safety. He's too much of a cornerback type of guy. Maybe he'll grow into a James Williams. You never know, but I don't really see that for DJ because he's too smooth and fluid. I wouldn't even say he's as fast as his dad. You never know. He might be. But I know he's a fluid athlete. He gives you Patrick Surtain Jr. He gives you Darrell Revis. Speed is a part of his game, but from what I've seen, it's more of a technique, physical guy. Not afraid to tackle, but I'm not gonna do no whole breakdown on no eighth grader. You got a long way to go, DJ, but just keep doing your thing. Okay, but yeah, this some of the pictures, from the All American thing, because what they're doing, they're involving underclassmen since we're having all of these All American opt outs, and that's something I want to talk about. Bowl game opt outs. I heard Uncle Luke, Coach Campbell. I don't know what he goes by because I heard he make the kids do up downs if they call him Luke. So I ain't never played for you, but out of respect, Coach, we're going to call you Coach Campbell. Well, Coach Campbell was on with a Streeter from Footballville. They have a new show coming. They just did a test run and had 2,200 people on the test run, the pilot for their show, with a lovely young lady, D Loves Football. You go follow her on YouTube. Well, basically, they were alluding about these bowl opt-outs now that they have the not collective bargaining, but the revenue sharing coming in next year in 2025 or 2026, where they'll not only have NIL, which is supposed to be endorsement money. It's not supposed to be collectives. Well, basically, they're going to have collectives, real endorsements, like for the Shadors of the world and the Cam Wars, which are the real NIL, name, image, and likeness, because how are you getting paid and you're not doing no commercials or advertising for something? Like I see some players promoting businesses, but that's how you get the return on investment. But long story short, to stop bowl opt-outs and maybe contest the transfer portal to maybe a 2-year gap. I don't know what it's going to be, but they're going to it's not going to be employees of the company or the college, but they're going to do something slick where they don't be held liable like the NFL, but they can control it. What they're going to do is revenue sharing, and basically with the revenue sharing, they're going to write into the contracts for you to get all of your money. Maybe some of your money, all your money get took, or some of your money get took. Your revenue sharing check will include participating in the bowl game. That's still not going to stop it, though, because all players are going to do, they'll get the money from the agent, or they'll get the agent to pay it back, or they'll just take the fine and go and pay it back when they go to NFL. Whatever, they'll figure it out. But what some people were saying is they should cut off your future scholarship. So even if you go to the NFL, you get out after 3 years, because it's not for long for a lot of people. You won't be able to come back and finish your degree if you don't finish your obligations, which that's a little bit harsh, but it's harsh to the fans. It's harsh to the people. Imagine if you paid 200, 300, whatever you paid, or even these people on these gambling sites, you gambled that Cam Ward was going to play for the Hurricanes. And even with my picks, some of my picks get messed up because guys are opt in, opt out. They'll opt in and play half of the game. And I know players, I heard Lamar Jackson say, I don't care about your parlay. That's different if you miss some passing yards, this, that, and the third. But if you say you're going to play and then you don't play, that's why the NBA is going through this thing where the ratings are going down, because guys are sitting out games. They're not going hard. Football can't do what basketball does with the load management, with the this, with the that. It's going to be injuries. You could have got injured in practice. You could have got injured in the 12 regular season games. I understand that there have been, the Melvin Brattons, I think. Wasn't it Melvin Bratton back in the 80s? But it's modern medicine now. I know it was the Jake Butt at Michigan a few years ago, but it's very, very, very seldom you're going to have a career-ending injury in college football. So they're going to include insurance to make sure that the players, like Willis McGahee, when he got his knee hurt back in 2002 in the Fiesta Bowl, he had like $1 million, $1.5 million insurance, but he still had a 10-year NFL career anyway. But basically, they're going to have insurance. And also with modern medicine, most injuries are repairable. Sometimes it's not, maybe a quarterback with a strode shoulder or something, certain things. But for most things, knees and stuff like that, as long as it isn't like, it takes something serious to end your football career nowadays. So that argument about playing one game or I'm only gonna play half. A lot of people are giving these kids bad advice, and even as an NFL GM, I wouldn't want to draft those kids because if you'll quit on me as a college program and I already paid you your money, then what will you do? Let's say if you're in a contract year and because I suspected, and I'm not putting this out. Well, no, I'm gonna take that back. It was a player that had a contract coming up, and they got a little banged up, but they were healthy, and they sat out for the rest of the season a few years ago. If you know, you know. He's from South Florida. I'm not gonna say the dude's name, but I got a lot of reason to believe that dude, the injury he had, he wasn't supposed to be sitting out no 2 months, but he knew what was at stake, and he basically sat out. But they shunned him for that. People were talking about that. That don't fly in the NFL. So, but you got to look at patterns. If a person does that as a amateur, what you think they're gonna do as a professional? That's just like anything else in college. They don't so much look at your grades, but they might check your resume, look for references. Okay, yeah, this person is smart, but are they a hard worker? Are they the type of person, if I get them this money, they're gonna get lazy, they're gonna want to party, this, that, and the third? Because you're running $1 million, $1 billion organization. You want good character people. And I'm not saying the kids have bad character, but some of the people around the kids, these street agents, getting in their ear. I even hear people saying, F your education. Look, whether it's $1 million, no, whether it's 100,000 over 4 years in college, or $1 million, because everybody's not making the big money in the NFL. I hope you don't think that. Telling a fifth round, sixth round pick, you don't need to care about your education. A fourth round, third round pick, even a first rounder. Because you coming from the ghetto, mama wants something, cousins want something, you might have a kid, this, that, and the third. You're not going to be able to live off a couple million or a couple 100,000 with the NIL for the rest of your life. Your education is going to maintain you, and it's going to help you operate on how to manage that money. Because you got a lot of swindlers, you got a lot of accountants, and maybe they're doing that on purpose because they don't want kids to get educated. Because when you become educated, you might cut out the agent, you might cut out this accountant. Especially with modern technology. Speaking of modern medicine, a lot of these players gonna learn about taxes. There's something called TurboTax. You don't gotta always go through people. We're living in an information age where a lot of this stuff, if you stop being lazy, you got 15 hours, 18 hours. You take less classes in college than you take in high school, and you got the block schedule with 8 classes. So make YouTube or make reading books another class. You in college, so you need to study finance. And I think they need to, because when I was in school, Hugh Freeze and Houston Nutt, they would have people come in and talk to us. Maybe they need to start having people come in during training camp or during spring, when we in the meeting rooms and discuss, look, you can blow your money, and it's girls out here targeting you. It's financial advisors, agents targeting you, all type of people you got to watch out for. Because I know some college football players personally. I don't be want to argue with them. Oh, my man got me. My man got me. Look, your man is worried about his wife and his kids. You cannot put it on no other man's responsibility. This part of manhood, when you stop being 18 and you're a grown man, it's no different in the streets. And I'm not taking it to that, but I'm from Miami, South Florida, so I kind of know a little bit about that. They quick to tell you, you know what I mean? The game ain't based on sympathy. Gobos. It's a lot of young dudes, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They babies. They are. As I get older, as a grown man, you looking at the physical. I'm looking at their mind. You have conversations with them. These is kids, man. But even as a young kid, I knew I was a kid, so I knew to avoid certain situations. It's something simple as I remember teammates that weren't responsible with their stipend they getting. They'll pay their rent money with some shoes or give it to their girlfriend, tricking because they ain't, I don't know, I guess they ain't got no mouthpiece to no game, whatever. I ain't saying I was no player, but I wasn't fit to get no girl nothing when I was in college. Like we all broke. We on a college campus. I know they got money now, but still, you still broke. 100,000, bro. You got to send something to your mama. You don't know when you gonna get a job when you graduate school. Look at that like inheritance. I know you don't come from that, but a lot of white kids, well, not a lot, some white kids or kids from different ethnicities, even some Africans. It ain't a racial thing. They get inheritance. They can't blow that money. That's money to for a foundation, but you still got to go out there, get a job, start a business. What I'm trying to tell these kids is you're going to live longer. People are living to 80 years old. You know what I mean? 90 years old. You're not going to be able to live off $100,000 that you got at 20, bro, or $1 million that you got at 22. You know what I mean? Look at Bronny James. He playing well now. I know that's basketball, but they was just talking about trying to get him up out of there. You know what I mean? Just as quick as they crown you, they will down you. So be responsible with them funds, But I didn't mean to go on this long monologue. Long story short, what's going to happen with the NIL and with the I keep want to say collective bargaining. What's gonna happen with the revenue sharing is they're gonna make some contracts where kids can't just hop in the portal like that. Now I don't know if they're gonna totally eliminate the portal. I don't think they're gonna be able to do that because it seemed like it ain't no rules, law and order, no more with the NCAA and with the Senate or the Supreme Court or whoever putting down these judgments. I think they should be reasonable. Even for you to get an AA degree, you got to do 2 years of college. I feel like after 1 year or after one semester, guys should not be able to hop in the portal. They say professionals, NFL has contracts. Now, okay, you don't want a contract with the university, but a contract with your revenue sharing, because that's TV money. So that's still technically under NIL. That's the way the college is still covered because they're not giving them the college money. I don't think they're going to be college employees because they don't want the liability for the CTE and the head injuries because you can't do that for 32 teams in the NFL. Imagine 132 in a college football plus FCS, Division II, Division III. They wouldn't be able to survive. That would be the end of college sports. So long story short, revenue sharing makes sense. But the thing with that, it need to be 2-year contracts. Because JUCO don't count no more. You go to JUCO for 2 years or 3 years if you redshirt, and you're going to be a true freshman as a third year or fourth year guy coming straight out of JUCO. But the classes will count still. So you could probably graduate after your first year playing college football if you did 3 years or 2 years of JUCO and then just be, I guess, a grad student for the next 3 years. You know, it happens. But long story short, with the revenue sharing, I believe that's just my personal opinion. And I'm somebody that actually played, actually used to call my mama home and wanted to transfer a couple of times. You know, I was trying to get up out of there. I think you should make kids stay 2 years. You can transfer after 2 calendar years and no more December transfer portal. That way you'll stop those bowl opt-outs. So unless you're getting ready for the draft, okay, fine. But all the underclassmen, you ain't going nowhere, so you might as well stay. Opt out if you want to. You will not be able to suit up until May of the next spring. So I think the portal shouldn't open up until the school year is over. You know what I mean? Let the portal open up, and they talk about spring practice. First of all, they don't even have real spring games. That'd be fans talking. If y'all actually seen what happened in spring, Hugh Freeze, my old coach, that coach at Auburn, now he was with me at Ole Miss. He's been saying for years, and this is a coach saying this. People talk about injuries and all that. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about because the way we do it now is actually causing more injuries. If they're gonna have a spring, move it to the summer. We ain't doing nothing anyway. That's when a lot of kids get in trouble. I've been on the college campus in summer. Ain't nothing to do but get in trouble. Because you ain't got as much classes. Ain't nobody in town. People just be bored. We do workouts in the afternoon and early in the morning. All day long, you might have 1-2 classes. You ain't got nothing to do. So people be smoking, doing all kind of stupid stuff. I'm not saying me, but it be happening. They should have it in July. When the freshers come in after a month and the transfers come in, you could do it late July. Maybe July 20th or something like that. Give them a summer. Because they doing summer workouts, everything. Have a preseason game or 2 preseason games. That FAMU, that FAU, I'm not going to say FAU. I'm going to say all FCS versus FBS games should be played as preseason games. You can rest your starters or you can give them a quarter if you want to, just like the NFL. And then let those guys in the back, that the backups and the transfers get a little used to going up against somebody. It don't even have to be full contact. Y'all can do it how y'all do them spring games. Maybe 2-hand touch, whatever that's born, whatever. You'll sell tickets, TV up, buy it. You know, they already competing with the UFL, but that's usually over towards the end of July. NFL preseason don't kick off until the first week of August. I think it'll be a great thing for TV. You know what I mean? It's wide open. NBA's over late June, so you can have college football preseason. You know, it wouldn't affect the polls, but you know, it probably would because it'll give you the eye test. But I think the portal should open up in May. They should have all June, like we always do. We doing the training in the summer anyway. And then something for us to look forward to for the veterans, for the freshmen, for the transfers. We're gonna have 2 preseason games. FAMU and Indiana A&T, whatever. You still get the money for the FCS teams. You still get the reps for the FBS teams. Everybody happy, and kids will have a spring where it ain't no spring game, and they'll actually get to focus on academics. You know, and they just doing the working out and training like we always do, but we'll actually suit up. And if you do have injuries, you know, maybe they'll have like a after preseason portal for like a week or two or whatever. It still ain't no school. First week of August or whatever, where you can hop in and switch schools. Or maybe I wouldn't even go with that. I think whoever you choose in May, that's it. I think freshmen choose their schools in December and February, whatever. Fine, because I don't even like that early signing day. I think signing day should only be February, and if you're early enrollee, just early enroll. But it should only be one signing day in February. Get all of that away from the season, because NFL don't have no draft and no free agency during the playoff. They don't play. College football got to get more organized. That's just my personal opinion. Another thing, they talked about Lance Gendry getting fired for the University of Miami. I am and I'm not happy to see that. I feel like we failed Lance Gendry and Lance Gendry failed us. He's going to be another Blake Baker. Is it Blake James? I'm not sure. The guy that's at LSU. Which LSU ain't got no hell of a defense, but they're a lot better, and you saw what he did at Missouri. One thing that Luke said that was very important, he was talking about Twin Peaks. No, I'm speaking about Coach Luke, Uncle Luke, Coach Campbell. I call him Coach Campbell out of respect. Him and Streeter from Footballville. A lot of guys, and I've noticed this with the Dolphins and with the Hurricanes. You ever notice where guys are all pro or all American when they're somewhere else, then they come to Miami and they don't do as well, or they start off good in the regular season and then they fizzle away? I think it's a lot of distractions that weren't here in the early 90s, in the late 80s, because South Beach really wasn't a thing. You had the Pac Jam, you had the heart of the city, all this different stuff. I'm doing my research. I wasn't alive for none of this stuff. I was either wasn't alive or I was a baby. But I caught a little bit of tail end of it. But long story short, a lot of the stuff that went on in Miami, the party scene was kind of like in the inner city, but it's a whole nother level now. You got all kind of the clubs, Fountain Blue, this, that, and the third. I believe my theory is these kids can focus when they're in high school because they broke and they in their mama house. But once they get to the UM or once they get to Miami Dolphins, this, that, and the third, they don't got no Pat Riley. They don't have no Jimmy Johnson. I think you got to have a certain type of coach that's hard-nosed, that will tell a five-star just like Saban, either do it my way or leave. Now, we say Mario hard-nosed, and he is, but he isn't. I think they don't disrespect Mario, but I don't think that they always giving maximum effort. I'm not going to get into detail, but I was privy to some information about a young man that plays for the team now that last year was outstanding. This year, some things happened that was out of his control, but word is he's still going to play, but he don't love it the way he used to. Now, it's two reasons why you stop loving college football. Either coaches doing all kind of sneaky stuff, which I don't believe that's what happened, or you just get distracted, especially when you getting that money. With my team, people was getting paid under the table, but it was more, it was girls, it was partying going on. We lost a couple games, people was distracted, but then we got a new coach, Hugh Freeze, and he kind of like cut the fat. I didn't agree with it all, but he basically was like, you're gonna get right or get up out of here. He did some wrong, but he did some right. I think you got to have a coach like Jimmy Johnson. You got to have a coach, one, disciplinarian. Mario kind of got that, but also you got to have good teachers. And that's what I'm coming back to Lance Gendry and Shannon Dawson. I'm going to hold Shannon Dawson accountable too, because that's what I think is accountability. You don't always have to fire a coach. I watched, I think it was a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago. This was when TVD was still here, and Shannon Dawson said, "I can set up the offense. I can show you where to throw it, but I don't work with quarterback mechanics." I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know if it was footwork, changing the way you throw, 1, 2, 3 as far as your reads. I mean, I know that's a video game because I'm a defensive player. I played a little offense, but even playing Madden on a high level online, you'll learn pocket presence and reading doing your reads. You can't just be out there throwing it to a spot because people that's smart on defense, they're going to catch that. It's not the same, but it's a similar concept in real life. Because you see Lincoln Riley, you see my school, Lane Kiffin. A lot of people like Lane Kiffin, or even Dan Mullen, even though he wasn't a big recruit at Florida. There are guys that are recruiters, there are guys that are teachers, and then there's the guys that do it all. Like the Sabins, the Dabbos. If you really want to win, you're going to do whatever you have to do. That's why they have coaching clinics. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. Let me Google it again. I know I've showed you guys that before. I probably could find it on Instagram. But every year they have something called coaching clinics where they coach coaches on how to be better at coaching. That's just like how teachers, if you guys know any teachers that teach, they go to certain seminars during the summertime, or even sometimes during the year, and they'll have a substitute fill in for them, where it's like coaching clinics. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for. Let me go to hold on. I'm gonna pull it up on Google. Football coaching clinic. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. I've shown it before, but some coaches just need to learn about game management. I mean, I can learn certain coaching stuff because I guess I'm a football nerd. I learned from just watching, listening when I'm watching it on TV, watching game film myself, my experience playing, and I actually got a love for it. Some guys, they only learn one offense, one defense, and they do that for the rest of their career. And when it doesn't work, they don't grow. They don't have the ability to adapt. Okay, yeah, here it goes. I'm gonna bring it up. But when you see a coach not improving, sometimes that's a lack of effort. It's no different than your kid in school. You know, if you fail in math, you need to get a tutor. And yes, coaches can get tutors too. So let me show you. These are coaching clinics. So now I pulled it up. You see, NFL coaches have coaching clinics. Speaking of Hugh Freeze, you thought I was lying. That was my coach at Ole Miss. We didn't have the best or the worst relationship, no, but he was a good guy. You know, he just had some faults. But long story short, uh, this is what not only Mario, but some of the coaches on the staff probably need to do. I know they host them, but sometimes they maybe need to get with an NFL coach or other college coaches. You don't have to. You might have some good things you do, but it's some things that you do bad, and you don't want to admit when you're wrong, so you'll just sink and ship. Lance Guidry came here for a reason. He's the same guy at Marshall that beat Notre Dame. He's the same guy that coached that defense pretty good last year at Miami. I just feel like even with Shannon Dawson saying that he don't coach the mechanics of quarterback, Shannon Dawson got a hell of an offense, but if you don't coach the fundamentals, you just know how to run call plays. That's like, okay, I know that's a video game, but I played real football, you know, at arena, college, high school, Pop Warner. You know what I mean? I ain't go to the NFL, but it is what I know football. But even I'm just giving you something that you guys know. Even with Matt, you can have the best Madden playbook, but if you don't know the basic fundamentals on press this button or how to, sometimes you got to smash it or sometimes you got to loaf the ball, you just tap it. You got to know how to play the game first, and then you can get complicated with running different plays because it don't matter what play you run. It's like Call of Duty. On the intro of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, we used to say, it don't matter what stick you swinging. You know, they call AK-47 sticks. Sometimes it's the man with the stick in his hand. I'm not promoting violence, but what I'm saying is if you don't know how to shoot, I can have a 9 and you can have an AK-47 and I'll still get the job done because you can't shoot. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person because we've seen the Geno Smith when they get around a different coach. Or we've seen all kind of different guys. No, even certain guys on Miami that were all ACC last year, now all of a sudden they can't tackle. Now all of a sudden they can't run to the ball. Even if you don't, you running the wrong play. If everybody's on the same page, it's gonna work 50% of the time. That's statistically proven. Because first of all, the offense don't know what you're running. So it might be cover 4, and you trying to figure it out. But once that ball snap, a football player is going to make football plays. The mistakes that's being made, these aren't, oh, you bigger than me, you faster than me, you stronger than me. These is basically like guys being undisciplined. And some of it is them, but some of them is coaching. Just running to the ball, wrapping up when you tackle. That's taught in high school. Some of this stuff is not stuff that's complicated. And I think maybe you do need to get coached as a coach. All you coaches, even the ones that stand on the staff. I agree with Luke on Kevin Beard. As far as rotating the players, everybody in the country is doing it. But I don't even think that's Kevin Beard. That might be Kevin Beard getting thrown under the bus because I've been on teams where the head guy, or the coordinator is trying to act like he's the nice guy, but really he's telling his position coach, don't play that kid. It be all kind of foolishness and politics going on. And a team like that, they're never going to win. If you a coach and you got your ego and you playing all kind of little power games, because it does go on in college football and in the pros or whatever, you'll be surprised how many guys. Like I remember I watched a Football Life with Marcus Allen, where he got a tour with Al Davis, and he was the best running back in the league. And for years, they were putting out bad press, and they wouldn't give him the ball. They even drafted Bo Jackson on him. Then he went to Kansas City and tore it up. So sometimes it be personal vendettas with coaches, with players. I don't know what's going on, but everybody need to be grown-ups and understand we got to all focus on winning. And I don't just go for Miami. Even with my school, Ole Miss, I'm calling it out. Lane Kiffin, a great coach, but that crap he pulled with the running backs this year, and maybe I'm gonna get a hot water for that, but I don't care. I'm about Ole Miss. I'm not about Lane Kiffin. I love Lane. He's the best coach we've had since the '60s. But I'm calling out Lane Kiffin, bro. If you would have done right by that running back position, we would be in the college football playoff right now. I'm saying it. And whoever get mad, oh well, you could tell them. And you're an excellent coach. But guess what? It's a reason why George Washington made that 4 years for president. forgot the saying, but complete power completely corrupts, or something like. Basically, if you don't have checks and balances, if you don't have a president, the legislative branch, the executive branch, the judicial branch, to all have the checks and balances, then you're running into the ground. You know, a lot of guys think because they know math, they know science, social studies, and you know what I mean. You can get help. You got to have guys that you respect that's gonna tell you, Coach, I don't think we should do that, or we should do that. You know what I mean? And you should encourage that, because I don't know who was responsible for that, but Bentley should have played. And I don't even necessarily care for Bentley as a player. He's probably a good kid, but he was better than what we had. Why did we go get Rashad Amos if we wasn't gonna use him? I need answers. And people might get offended, but guess what? I'm here for the kids. I don't care nothing about no coach that's a grown man that actually you doing a disservice to your wife and your kids, because if you get fired, your whole family got to relocate. So that's why I don't even be understanding these dudes with these egos, because you should just want to win. But I'm telling you from experience, I played on teams where some coaches just wanted to win, and some coaches, they had some other stuff going on. And it's not always their fault. It might be their boss and they taking the fall. But whoever it is, I'd rather you get fired for doing the right thing than you keep your job and eventually get fired for doing wrong. And that's my show for the day.